444 kgs mi na location, alright? Hey guys, I'm out here in Gama this morning, Papua New Guinea. 17% slope, really steep mountain airstrip, really fun. I'm gonna go ahead and fill up with some coffee here. I've got 4 sick people with me today. Fill up with coffee and head on back to Goroka. Alright guys, so these bags of coffee that they're loading are around 55 kgs, which is about 120 pounds. So imagine having a 2-day hike, putting one of those things on your shoulder and carrying it out. So really aviation is really the only viable option here, specifically here in Gama. Moyara. All right. Menos go kamlo here plenty. Kaso amigo lo and the comb again not a week behind, so suppose me enough. Bami stop na kisim some moyat. So if you guys are wondering how much are these guys paying for the air freight to fly out their coffee, they're paying about 60 cents per kg, so 30 cents a pound roughly. And then either sometimes we sell it for them and then bring their money back for them, but in this case there's actually somebody in Goroka that's already paid for all this and he's just going to sell it in Goroka himself. So works out to be a pretty good deal. It's a pretty largely discounted rate, but it also helps us out because otherwise I'd be flying back just with a couple passengers, and this helps pay for the whole flight going back. Alright, now for a 21-minute flight back to Goroka. It looks awfully cloudy out there, which will make this more fun and interesting. But we're going to try the lower route getting back into Goroka. We're 5,300 feet. Pattern altitude in Goroka is 5,100 feet, or touchdown zone I should say. And we can probably make it all the way there at 6,300, so just 1,000 foot higher than this, we can make it. So that's what we're going to do, is we're just going to take the low route getting back over there. But before I keep talking, I'm going to go ahead and line up. Alright, get our brake back on. Alright, we are barely within our CG. We're on our aft CG it looks like, but we are still within the envelope, so we are still safe. Alright, but that actually will help us getting out of here. Let me actually record this flight, so if you guys want to fly the same flight on like your home sim or something like that, you guys can follow along with my flight. Caps and selectors are good. Controls are good. Turn off TAWS.
Phoenix 701 Mosley.
All stations Gama 1207, November Tango Kilo will be departing Gama for Goroka. Will be below 8,000.
OSB 6622, November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo, what's your good?
November Tango Kilo, taxi Gama, Goroka, 6 POV.
November Tango Kilo.
Before we take off, I have to tell you guys about this. E3 Aviation, it's a brand new membership platform that is being launched this month. And it's also an opportunity to meet me personally, so that's why I want to tell you guys about it. I'll get more into that in just a minute. Let me tell you about what you'll actually be receiving with this membership, because it is insane how much stuff you're going to be getting. It is the ultimate place for pilots and aviation enthusiasts to discover, collaborate, and grow. So with this membership, it's loaded with online tools, aviation product discounts, entertaining media, live expert calls and webinars, digital magazine, regional fly-ins and membership meetups, online courses and lessons, interactive mobile app, access to events and conferences, and well, that's just a few of the items you'll be receiving. So this month, and only this month, is your opportunity to become one of the 5,000 founding members of E3 Aviation. And with that comes a lot of really cool stuff. So when you become a member this month and become one of those founding members, you actually get special discounted pricing on your membership fee. You also get additional savings on aviation gear. You have access to founder-only events and online events, as well as, like I was saying at the beginning, an opportunity to meet me in person at Sun and Fun this year at the VIP E3 Aviation tent. Now, when you become an annual premium or a VIP member, you're going to get access to that tent completely for free. And if you become a standard member, you're going to have 50% off. Either way, I'm going to be at Sun and Fun this year, and I'm looking forward to meeting some of you guys. Now, it's pretty evident you're going to be getting a lot from this membership, and it's a no-risk membership. You can cancel at any time, but this is your only chance to become one of those 5,000 founding members. Check out the link down below. It has a couple videos on there explaining even more about what you're going to be getting, because I can't fit everything in this short little ad for you guys. All right, let's get back to the flight.
All right, flaps and radar are good, trim is good, our abort. Once we're brakes release and going, we're committed. We won't be able to stop again just because it's just too steep of a hill. After takeoff though, if we have an engine loss of power or anything else, we're going to consider EPL, consider feather, immediate right hand turn to lowest terrain, pull off, shut off, 85 then 80 full flaps, emergency smash, crack my door, and tell these guys to brace. All right, ignition, inlet and lights. Takeoff clearance is done. We're 5,000, 23 degrees, so let's do 1390 for 1440, just like Goroka. We're 6,700 pounds. We're going to rotate 61 knots. And 72 knots, I should say 73 knots if we have to come back in. So 61 knots. There we go. All right, ignition condition. Ups 20 fuel and harnesses, and I'm going to pull the nose up a little bit just so it's skipping the ground, but not too much. It's kind of hard because your sight picture when you're flat, it looks like one thing, and then when you're going down a 17% slope, it looks completely different. So kind of like, I'm just going to lock my elbow into right here, basically. All right, 1390. Alright guys, my audio camera just stopped working, so I have no idea where you are on this. I'm taking the low route back. I'm at 6,500. There's a helicopter on his way out here, but he might be turning back just because he's not sure if he can make it through. But I just gave him an update on Mariwaka to let him know, hey, it's beautiful out there. If you can make it out here, that's great. So, I just got a text here. It says, weather is 5/8, clouds 1,200, 1,500, a few holes if you come in, mount Michael direction and drop in. Okay, that is good to know. So my low route is kind of up through Tarabo and then off to the left. I think that he should have no problems getting out here. Let's see, where's Tarabo? That is the nearest is... And Hotel Charlie Mike 1207, November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo, yeah, g'day, we're about 8 miles southeast of Tarabo, 5,500.
All right, I am also about 10 miles to the southeast of Tarabo, 6,600. I think from this point on you'll have no issues getting to Mariwaka.
Copy, thank you. We've got your visual. We're down on your 2 o'clock low. Thanks for your help.
Okay, yep, got you now. Thanks. Have a good day.
You too, thanks. And the weather through to Goroka is not too bad. This is the worst bit.
All right, thank you. All right, he's just right down there off my wing. Yep, there he is right there. If you guys are interested in learning how to fly the Kodiak for Flight Simulator, I've got a course that walks you through all of our procedures, some instrument stuff. If you're not familiar with G1000, I go a lot into the G1000, how to use it, how to set up approaches, as well as just where to look on these screens. I think that's the biggest thing. Moving from steam gauges to a glass panel is just knowing where to train your eyes to be looking for different things and what numbers are looking for. So check out the link down below. I think you guys will really enjoy it. All right, we're coming up on Tarabo here shortly. It is looking like this is going to be my best option. So Mount Michael is just over here underneath these clouds somewhere, and that's what our flight coordinator told me. That's the best option to get in here into Goroka. And what I'm just looking forward here is I'm seeing a bunch of, not seeing any ridges. I'm just seeing the clouds. I know that I can continue up this little yellow area and make my way through as long as there's not rain in those lower areas. So that's just what I'm looking at ahead of me now. I've got two ways I can go. One way is a little bit higher off to the right, one way is a little bit lower off to the left. 6,300 at the maximum, lowest, and the other one is close to like, I want to say like 7,000. I don't think you can see it, but it's actually red on here on the terrain map, so just showing that, hey, I'm not going to be able to get through that way. And that's really nice to have this on days like this where you can't see your ridges and all you see is rain and clouds on all the ridges. Alright, let's autopilot off. Let's climb up a little bit, give ourselves a little bit better view over top of this ridge up here. I remember one of my very first solo flights here in Papua New Guinea was out to Gama and back. And it was a day like today where there's, you know, rain on all the mountaintops. But I had no experience like in knowing how the weather works here. It was so stressful because I had no idea, like, is that rain gonna come into the valley, or like what if my options close off? Like, what are my options to get back? Like the first 2 years flying in this country can be pretty stressful, not knowing the terrain, not knowing what weather patterns typically do, things like that. Okay, so Mount Michael's up in this area. We're just coming through this area. We're going to come right over top of this and then hang a right down into the Goroka Valley. It's looking really beautiful up here. Clouds are, I don't know, 500 foot above me, but that's more than enough of room. I'm seeing all the way down into Goroka Valley now. I actually even see Goroka airstrip, so 20 miles out, looks like you should have no problems getting in. One of the nice things about Papua New Guinea is they don't have tall towers. Like the tallest towers that I've ever seen, well, there's some in Moresby, but out here in the middle of nowhere are just Digicel like cell towers, and they're not much taller than a tree, thankfully. This would have been a great day to do the cloud break procedure that I have, but I've got people on board and this is probably a lot smoother for them than going through all that crap over there. Goroka Tower, November Tango Kilo. Currently 15 miles to the south-southeast, 6,400. Your circuit 32, copy Mike Alpha Juliet, and looking.
November Tango Kilo, at this stage you're number 2 behind Mike Alpha Juliet. Track and report right base 435 right.
Track and report right base 35 right, number 2 November Tango Kilo. Right, there is Mike Alpha Juliet just now coming on my screen. Actually look like I might get there before her though.
Mike Alpha Juliet, your number 1 landing sequence, report final.
Mike Alpha Juliet, okay.
Right, I'm going to set up 5,800 feet for my altitude. That's where I'm going to be entering my base. And then I'm just going to slowly work my way down just another 400 feet for that. I'm 9 miles out now. Really, once I start about 6 miles out, I'll start slowing down just so I can make some really slight adjustments so that my passengers, these are probably first-time flyers for some of them, they don't hear the changes, they don't feel the changes, they don't feel my flap transitions, little things like that.
Runway cut, gross cutting thrust on 17 right is complete and we are clear.
Alright, my weight, 6,600 pounds, so 71 knots for VREF. Selectors, brakes, our TAWs, we can actually turn back on. Our lights and an inlet are done. If we have to go around, power up 20 degrees of flaps, pitch for 73 knots or 11 degrees on the horizon, and maneuver is required. There's 6.9 miles. And I just had the traffic on final, I think. If you guys want to pick up one of these boxes, I've got these on my site. They're such a handy tool.
Mike Alpha Juliet, runway 35 left, clear to land.
Clear to land 35 left, Mike Alpha Juliet.
Keeping your eyes up and out.
Tango Kilo Cessna Caravan is on final this time.
November Tango Kilo. These are such a handy tool for keeping your eyes up and out where they need to be in critical phases of flight, like takeoff, landing. And it allows you to have a visual so you can see if you've covered all your items. Rather than some paper checklist where it's super easy to forget things, bouncing around, this will still allow you to do a couple here and there, and you can always go back and go, oh, did I actually get my landing clearance? All right, bring our torque on back to probably 400-ish. We're below 138, so 10 degrees of flaps. Slowly push my prop forward so there's not much of a change. Looking for my traffic. And final somewhere a little bit ahead of me according to my traffic. Oh, there it is. Okay. Go ahead and start my base now. 20 degrees of flaps. A little bit lower than I was wanting to be. I'm basically at my turning final altitude now. On to 81 knots. So I'm just pulling my power out to slow me down. Then just kind of holding my nose up so it's just bleeding the speed off without losing my altitude. Open harness is complete. Once she lands, then I will call my final, otherwise it's just a wasted call. Full flaps, checklist complete, except for landing clearance, turning final. Bird. November Tango Kilo, final 35 right.
November Tango Kilo, runway 35 right, clear to land.
Clear to land 35 right, November Tango Kilo. Alright, slow on to 71 knots.
$500.
I think my QNH is off. Yeah, it's definitely off because I'm like right where I want to be. And it's off like 300 feet. I was like, there's no way I'm 300 feet low. I didn't get it from the tower. It's alright. I'll just go by what it looks like. Okay, coming up to 71 knots, 3 knots tailwind, 5 knots crosswind. 350 on the descent, so we're a little bit flat. So let me just come out. This is a 3% slope and it just throws you off every single time. That's looking a lot better. Big old sinker. Right, floated for a little while, but it's all right. As long as I have a smooth landing, I'm happy. Low idle, get her flaps up. This is my only flight of the day. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I love days like this where it's cloudy and challenging. Well, not challenging after you've flown it a million times. It's not so challenging, but it is fun nonetheless. Like I said, if you're a flight simmer, you'd like to see more on-the-ground content, you'd like to try out some of these flights that I do, check out my Patreon page. I think you guys really enjoyed the content out there. I've got a bunch of on-the-ground videos where I walk around the communities, show you guys schools, ask the local people some questions, different things like that. So if you're into that kind of stuff, check out that link in the description here. And welcome here to Goroka. Alright guys, see you next time.